Okay, thank you. Sorry, 3379, right?
3379?
Yes,
Alright.
thank you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Where that word came from? Where that word came from? Is that right? All right.
Hey everybody, I hope everyone's doing well out there. So we got a significant amount of snow where I am and just grateful and thankful and counting my blessings, to be warm, to be safe, to be inside. So hopefully everyone is doing well, just making myself some warm coffee. I'm feeling a little better than I have been after that pneumonia, so-called pneumonia virus, whatever I caught in that dirty shelter. So just counting my blessings. Just got a order from ShopRite, so that's where your donations go. It helps me to have food and clothing. Well, not really clothing so much. I mean, I pretty much have clothing, but the shelter does give some clothing to folks and stuff, and I try my best to take care of my belongings. So yeah, we got a decent amount of snow. Trying to get the camera up there. My phone. So, so yeah, I just hope everyone is well. I'm still at this motel. Checkout is tomorrow morning. So, I live my life one day at a time and just continue the journey of healing and restoration. Yeah, some of us just don't have support. We don't have family, unfortunately. It is what it is. But yeah, I do have my faith family, and we're not perfect. But at least I know I have brothers and sisters around the world who are going through the same persecution and hatred as me, for my faith, for my belief in scripture. And yeah, so trying to show y'all the little snow. We're supposed to be getting more snow, they say, around 2. So let's see if that'll hold up for a minute. But other than that, yeah, things are pretty good. I can't complain. Just, resting, getting in my prayer closet, just meditating, self-reflection. Yeah, there's a lot going on in our nation right now. It certainly is biblical, that's for sure. I can certainly say the love of many has waxed cold, so, I just keep praying that YAHUAH helps me not to let my love wax cold, and, that I continue my best to love and help my neighbors, as much as I can, right? Without, harming myself, because, we have to use discernment and wisdom in these last days, because certainly bad company corrupts good character. Wow, I hear the wind out there. So, yeah, we're supposed to be getting some more snow, and it's going to be a code blue for the next couple days. So, you're more than welcome to donate to the channel if you'd like to support my work. Thank you. Yes, Yahushua is King. Thank you for that. The Most High Yahuwah, creator of heaven and earth. Yes. I'm just counting my blessings that I'm inside, and that's all we can do, just continue to fight the good fight of faith, So, lots happening in our country, in our nation. So I'm just doing my best to stay out of harm's way, seek refuge and safety. And, yeah, when we preach the word of the Most High, we're going to have a lot of haters, and people aren't going to like us, and it is what it is, you kind of sign up for that, to be set apart truly from this religious system and all its teachings and lies and doctrines of devils and demons, lots of manipulation out here. At the end of the day, no matter what technology that these people have, Yahuwah is still in control, right? He's still in control of the weather and everything that's taking place. He's in control. And I put my faith and trust in him, So, that's what I choose to do. I'm not, worried about, trying to have a spirit of fear, like the weather's going to do what it's going to do, and as long as you're hopefully safe and somewhere warm, this too shall pass, So yeah, it looks like we're getting a decent amount of snow and just go from there. Just, I count my blessings. That's what keeps me going out here with the Most High, because at the end of the day, Yahuwah is my only friend, the Messiah, right? My only true friend. He never leaves me nor forsakes me. He's always there 24/7. His word is always there, Um, so, yeah, learning how to use wisdom and discernment, right? When it comes to trusting others and, where it's a safe space to share your life, your business with folks. Yeah, we live in a very cold world, and it certainly has waxed cold. The love of many, murdering people in the middle of the streets, killing people. I mean, they've been doing that forever in Babylon, America. So it's just certain folks are catching up quicker than others, right? So yeah, murder has always happened in our streets when it comes to law enforcement, and things of that nature. So it's just sad to see. Whether it's a psyops or not, at the end of the day, yeah, we still have to, you know, love one another and love our neighbor as ourselves, So a lot of so-called, Christians have a lot of hatred, in their heart, It's like they just want to harbor on homosexuality and these certain sins when, hating someone is a sin, murder in your heart, right? Hating someone. Um, yeah, you know, like, yeah, so we have to love people. We don't have to love the lifestyle, but we have to love people, no matter who your neighbor is, if they're in need, you still help them. Yeah. But we've lost that concept in these last days. And it's only going to get worse, a lot of hatred out here in these streets. A lot of hatred towards people who want to preach the word, who want to do what's right, according to scripture, coming out of Babylon, coming out of religion and Christianity in a whole, and reading the word on our own. Like, yeah, that brings a lot of hatred from Christians sometimes, but, I'd rather be biblically correct than religiously correct. I hope that made a little bit of sense. So please forgive me, I'm still trying to get well here myself, restore, reflect, make phone calls, reach out to people, who genuinely care about me as a person. For sure. Like going through narcissistic abuse is not easy. No family, no support. Yes, many people are homeless because of domestic violence. You have to leave your home when you're not being treated properly or mistreated. And, if it's not your place, guess what? You're out on the street. Especially if you start setting boundaries with people and things you're not going to tolerate from people, and, you really set consequences with those boundaries. Yeah, people don't like that. We live in a world that is very narcissistic, selfish, and a lot of people are out for their own selfish gain these days, right? So, yeah, yeah, and then we have the Noahide laws coming down the pike. So if you believe in Yahushua, if you can argue all day long about, is his name Jes? Is his name Yahushua, Yahusha? I don't particularly say the name Yahusha because Lou White was educated by the Jesuit Illuminati. So, and, the Most High Yahuwah revealed his son's name to me many, many years ago. And it was similar to Joshua, Yahushua, Joshua. So hey, I'm not here to get down that rabbit hole of conspiracy, but I certainly think that Jesuit Jesus is not going to save my life. I want to believe in the one who came, the one who came in his Father's name, and has full authority. You know, So, yeah, that means, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, coming out of paganism, pagan celebrations. We're not in a new year right now. This is not a new year. So, and so it's kind of like not really surprising to see all this tyranny happening in wintertime. It's like Nazis seem to have some kind of fetish with wintertime and doing harm to people, in these freezing temperatures that, people can literally freeze to death. We're in a code blue, a lot of chaos in our streets, but hey, this was all. This is what happens, when a nation goes astray from the Most High, His Torah, His laws, His instructions. This so-called Judeo-Christian nation, right, where people just say, "Oh, all you got to do is have faith and believe." Yeah, even the demons believe, but guess what? Demons don't obey, and you don't want demon faith. So the 10 words that people say they can't keep, when if you read the scripture and you understand that He puts His Spirit in you, and then you'll be able to fulfill those 10 words, including the 7th-day Sabbath. Because who wouldn't want to keep a 7th-day Sabbath? We're not slaves, we're not robots, and there will be a Sabbath keeping for the people of the Most High. This is in the scripture. So yes, 6 days you shall work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. And it's not on the Catholic Sunday, So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in our world that, people just don't adhere to and understand, why and what got us in this position, right? Turning away from the Torah, from the law, from the instruction, from the covenant, the everlasting covenant that cannot be changed. It cannot be changed, right? It says He thought to think, He thinks to change times and laws. Well, that's exactly what Christians did. They thought to change the Most High's laws, and that somehow that they would continue to prosper. And we're seeing that. We're seeing in real time, Most High don't work like that. You can't change His laws and decrees like these Constantine Christians who worship on a Sunday. There a lot of them are going to church. They're worshiping today on this Constantine Christian Sunday. Disobedience to the Most High. So it's a serious charge, family. So yeah, and I speak this to my own soul. There's there's a lot happening, and I'm doing my best as a homeless person to adhere, to Yahuwah's standards, right? Biblical standards. And it's tough because you don't get treated good out here. You don't. Your rights get violated. You're not treated kindly. Yeah, people would rather you just disappear. Those kinds of attitudes towards the poor. Yeah, this is not a biblical Christian nation, for sure. For sure. Many have lost their way. So, yeah. But so yeah, that's all I'm doing, family. Just resting, relaxing. But thanks for those who have reached out and donated, and those who genuinely care about the homeless. Thank you so much, because it does help a lot. Just and where your money is going, because sometimes, yeah, these organizations, you don't know where your money's going, right? So, but I just thought I'd put on some worship music, if and just go from there. I'm trying to stay, in good spirits. That's all. We can only stay in good spirits to the best we can. So hopefully, play some music and try to stay focused on the Most High. That's all we can do. Stay focused on the Most High.
Stand up, my child, from the world's deceit. Ways of man have made you weak. You think all's good, but can't you see, my child, you've been lied to. Away from me. They say the Torah's done, it's gone away. Now we live in love, they proudly say. But how can love deny what's right? When darkness shines, they call it light. The unclean while truth just dies. Fleshly desires lead every day, and my commandments they thrown away. Why, oh, why have you grown so cold? My son, my daughter, your hearts grow old. They call their feasts holy, their joys in vain, but their songs are filled with lawless gain. Come back to me, my ways, my will, for my Torah gives life. What is good or what is wrong? Without my Lord, you lost your song. Oh, you've lost your song. Christmas, Halloween, Easter too. Sports and parties replace what's true. Singing loud with worldly pride. While the word of life is cast aside. Yeshua said, I did not come to destroy. The prophets told us my Father will. But you twisted his words in his holy name and teach rebellion all the same. You have forgotten why, Lord, that title means nothing at all. My name is Yahweh, your name I don't hide my name beneath man's way, for I am Yahweh, I do not change. My name is life, my name is truth. I gave it to my chosen you. How can you love without my word? Your works show love, not what you've heard. My Sabbath's lost, my ways ignored. You say it's love, but it's not the soul. Why, oh, why have you grown so cold? My son, my daughter, your hearts grow old. They call their feasts holy, their joys in vain, but their songs are filled with lawless gain. Come back to me, for my Torah gives life. What is good or what is wrong? Without my law, you lost your song. Do you love me? I ask again. My child, return, forsake your sin. The commandments are love, they show you me.